Hello and welcome back to the mostly average park here in Planet Coaster. But anyway, if you remember from last episode, and I know it was a while ago, we just built this building here, which houses the transfer track for Burnout. It also has some shops built in on the bottom. And I don't. Whoa. Wow, I am all over the place today. You can tell I haven't played this game in a while. There is also a staff building down there. So that is a pretty nice little feature for our staff. But I just want to give a quick update on the series. Yes, we are going to have fewer updates at the moment because I do have some personal matters going on. So I do apologize for that. The series is not dead. It's going to continue, but it is going to be at a much, much slower pace. So I do apologize, but hopefully once things settle down, I can start to get back into it. And never know, maybe we can get back to a once every 2 week schedule. It just takes a lot for me to put in the time to get an episode that's worthwhile. Plus, I'm really struggling with getting some motivation to work on some of this area here. But anyway, this episode, we're going to go into our management features here shortly. And then we're going to tackle something that's been bothering the crap out of me for a long time. And it really has to do with this whole path around the outside here. The idea was that this is going to be like a road type pathway, and I don't really want it to be this red brick, but because of how many times I broke the path up, it ends up being that this is just one giant path all the way around, and I can't edit it whatsoever without breaking it. So we're going to take a stab at trying to fix that. We are going to I think that may even impact the exit for Vertigo here, but we're also going to try to kind of do this thing here where we have a different, like this, whatever this type of pathing is at this intersection here that will come over. It'll probably impact here. It'll probably stop somewhere around this area, and then it'll also come over here, probably stop. Hopefully it doesn't catch the entrance or the exit to Vertigo, but I do believe it does. And then somewhere over here it'll stop as well. But we're going to focus on that, and then depending on how much time that takes, we are going to try and continue to work. We may be able to finally get a way to add in a flat ride here, maybe our drop tower, but we'll have to figure that out at a later time. I also have a very big urge to work on the bridge that goes here, so we'll probably do that as well. But yeah, I mean, it's been a while since I've been in this park. I forget how much that I like the way Burnout looks and just how unique it is. I mean, you launch, I don't know what the speed is anymore, but you launch into a high speed into this like weird turn type. It's not overbanked, but it's certainly got a pretty big degree on it. Come down a high speed airtime hill into a very sharp turnaround, another fast banking switch with a little bit of airtime a turn, and then you do this like double up thing into the highest point of the ride, which is pretty much near the middle to the end of the attraction. You come back down, go underneath this bridge here, and then do some other just turns to kind of round out the layout a little bit. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with the way that looks, and I forgot how good it looks, so I'm excited to see that go again. The other piece that we may focus on, this concrete stuff, I don't think I'm going to change this because I don't think I want to put the time into doing that. It's all different buildings because they're the concrete pieces. This area looks pretty decent over here, so I definitely don't want to mess with that. But you never know what I may get into. So anyway, let's go ahead. Let's get the HUD up. And if you're this is the first time you're watching the series, I've been putting the game on pause because my computer's not all that great. And when I'm doing the management portion, it really is hard. Like the audio doesn't catch right through shadow play. So I put it on pause just so it's a little bit easier to understand. Plus, I don't think it's that big of an issue. You still get to see the park, it's just not operating. And I do keep it operating when I am working on something, as long as it's not something that's too tedious that I'm getting annoyed with it. So anyway, into our management features, our overview. We're still looking pretty good here. I think we got a lot more money. Yeah, we're making $4,000 a month now in rides and tickets again. So our experiment to try and keep this as a pay per entry and then free attractions did not work, but that's fine. Our guest happiness is at 96%, so that's great. We have 9% of people that are thirsty. Not 100% sure why that is, but that's fine. I'm not too concerned about that. Park is very spacious. That's awesome. The queue for Bubble Shot was quite quick. That's great. Our most profitable ride coaster is the Fireball, which was the first coaster that we built. And you can just see it's got a huge line, which is I think only about 7 minutes. Let's see if we can pull this up here. Where is our line? Oh, it doesn't even say it. Great. Yeah, so I don't know. I think it's about 7 minutes, which is about the time frame that I'd be looking to have for a wait in this game. We got the most profitable shop, which is the Bear Paw Eats Pizza Pen, which is going to be all the way over here in this building here. And you can see like there's still a bunch of people around there, so that's pretty nice. And then let's see what else we got. Most popular attraction is Bubble Shot, which is our kiddie coaster up here. And that's probably because it can really get people through the attraction very quickly. So I'm pretty happy with that as well. That ride, does that have a long wait? 3 minutes. No, no, it does not. Like I said, it's going very quickly, so that is all fantastic stuff. And yeah, monthly profit's pretty good. Construction costs, that's going to continue. The wages, that's going to continue, nothing too crazy. And then our attractions, we have one thing that's broken down, but we're still looking pretty good. 34 shops and facilities. I never noticed that before. Into our graphs, we don't really pay attention to those. Our ticket prices, I think this is a good ticket price, so I'm not going to worry about that. Our maximum guests, we do not have the cap on it, but we do have 85% of our people saying this park was amazing. I don't want to leave. And security at the park was high. I pickpocketed and got caught. That is great. 8% of people are saying security at this park is great. Even though I was pickpocketed, they managed to catch them and reclaim the whole amount taken from me. So that was even better. I had such a bad time. I'm getting a refund. I don't know what that means, but that doesn't sound good. But it's only 2% of the people in here, so woo. Yeah, that's great. That's like 4 people, maybe 5 people. Our breakdown, our ride rating's great, our scenery rating's great, park balance bonus 185. I don't know if that's good or bad. Marketing bonus, we don't have any marketing. Bonus from guest happiness is 23%. That sounds pretty good. And then our park rating, 2673, is good as well. For our miscellaneous stats, the biggest drop is only 62 feet, which is tiny. And that is probably Fireball. And I don't think it goes up with Burnout because of how that ride was built. Our longest coaster is 14 feet, and that is probably Bubble Shot. Total length of all coasters, 25,000, or not 25,000, 2,500. And our total park lifespan, guess, 65,000 people have visited the park. That's an insane number. A lot of vomit in liters for whatever reason, even though everything else is. You would think that would be gallons since this is feet, but who knows? It doesn't really matter. Liters is fine. That's a lot of vomit. That's all we need to know. Number of months since park opened, 547. So we've been around for a while now. 69 years to be exact. So that's exciting. Our finances, we finally seem to have stabled out here a lot. And that's mainly because we're charging for our rides again. And even though we're not getting nearly as much on our rides and coasters, we're still making a ton of money. Our small attractions, they're definitely still losing money, but what are you going to do? Ride running costs, that's fine. Coaster costs, that's fine. Priority pass sales, we finally, I think we opened this last episode, and that is in the Priority Passes for Suckers gift shop right here. And we're finally making some money. And by making money, I mean we're not losing as much money. So, we did make a big profit on park entrance ticket sales. So that's pretty crazy. But yeah, that's pretty good for rides and tickets. Our shops and facilities, our shop sales, looking pretty solid again. Even though we're minus 417 for this month, that's still okay. Our facilities, we're not charging for those. Our shop and facility running costs, that's just where we're losing the money. And then our hotel, we are making just enough to cover the cost of operating the hotel, which is exactly what we want to do. And then our restaurant, we have turned off because I couldn't get it to work right. We're going to take a shot at that at a later point in the series when we can try and get that open again. So, looking pretty good in shops and facilities at this point. Our park management, we're obviously losing a ton of money on our staff wages and our scenery costs. And that is pretty much it for their profit. It's pretty self-explanatory. Construction. Paths are going to be very expensive, so that's going to be bad for this episode. And our other cash is not making much. There's nothing going on there. And our cash flow is minus 2,700 for this month. But that's okay because that was a high construction month because we just built that huge huge building. We also did do some modifications to the coaster, so I think maybe I didn't, I don't know. I thought I deleted part of the coaster and then put it back in because I was testing something. Maybe not. It doesn't look like I did, so whatever. Anyway, moving on. Research, we don't have any research because we've researched everything. Marketing, we're not doing anything with that. Our staff, let's take a look. We've already refined how much we're going to pay these guys, so they are pretty happy. These are obviously overpaid, so we probably shouldn't have trained them up that much, but we did. Same with our janitors. They are getting paid exactly what they need to not lose any happiness. And then the vendors, I think I've pretty much fine-tuned them as well. We got a few people down here. Ooh, hi. We can go ahead and just train Nicole up here. And now my dog's going to start to bark in the background. But anyway, we'll give her $90, so that's great. Low, those are fine. Everyone else, I mean, he's still going up, but that's fine. All that is good. So I think our vendors are looking great. No one is high other than Nicole, and we just trained her, so she is back down to normal. So that is good news. And I'm sorry if you hear my dog coughing in the background. She does that once she barks at someone who was outside, so sorry about that. Our mechanics, they're looking good. He's lost a little bit of happiness, but I'm not too concerned about it. I think 4 is probably the best for them. I don't think there's much else that we can do. And then all of our security officers, we train those up to the maximum training because there are so many thieves in Planet Coaster that you need to. Work roster is still pretty happy with those. I don't think we need to make any changes. And our staff buildings, I think we just added one here. I don't know which one this is. I'm not. There we go. Building. Oh no, it's just building. Please. Firehouse roof. Okay, so there we go. Staff building. We need to name this the Burnout transfer, just so I know which one we're looking at here. We're not going to mess around with any of that. We may do a security office for this one because we're starting to get pretty far back into the park. But I don't think I need to worry about any of the others because this will, like if I chose something like this, it's going to cost, oh, it just cost me money. Does it cost me to run it? I don't remember. We're not going to do that though because I don't think we need to yet. But that's going to do it for staff. Let's go ahead and get into our guests. Let's actually back out of here rather than just looking at a black screen. So our adult groups make up 39% of the people here. Our teen groups is the least amount, and that is because they are looking for the more intense thrills, which hopefully Burnout will draw more of them in because I think we're going to need that. And then our family groups, we have the most family attractions, so that is something that we are already set in. We just need to get the kids to go to the bathroom, but I think we're still doing pretty good. Again, I think we need to get some teens in to the park to make it a little bit more balanced, and I think we'll be good to go because they're not really spending any money. The adult groups are definitely giving us some money, but the families, that's where it's at. That's where we're making all our money. That is because they're going on the coasters, they're buying gifts, they're buying drinks, food, making ATM withdrawals. So that is where we're making our money. In terms of the most important piece of everything going on here, our guest thoughts. Most people are very happy with the park. We do have, like I said earlier, 9% of people that are thirsty. So hopefully our Street Fox coffee over here will help, but I do think it's a little far away for where people are probably thirsty at. I wish there was a way for me to find out where these people are having these thoughts. Because I could imagine there's really no drink stands in this area. So Street Fox Coffee should address that. There's a drink stand up here and there's also vending machines. There is a vending machine over on this side, but that's not really going to do all that much. We also have our water shop up here, which is probably quenching a lot of thirst. And really, even in the front here, there's not that much in terms of drinks and stuff. So maybe that's something that I need to take a look at, but I just feel like it's this area. Oh, can't get there. This area right here, because that's where we have a lot of more thrill attractions. So, hello. So that's pretty good. Otherwise, not queuing that long to go in Carbonator, which is this attraction. That's fine. I would also not wait that long. Carbonator is a really good value. Priority passes are for suckers. That's why we named it Priority Passes for Suckers. Fireball, so place the advert. Yes, we do have a lot of advertisement here. Yes, all over the place, all over the park. There's advertisements for everything. So Carbonator is on here a lot. Bubble Shot's on here, Fireball, and Vertigo. Everything's looking pretty good. We have a couple people that are hungry, but they'll find those food shops eventually. So I'm pretty happy with that. Our graphs I'm not too concerned about, so we're not going to worry about those. Our profits and everything. So this, we kind of expect this to be a little all over the place. So we essentially want and my dog is going nuts again. We essentially want to try and get it as close to just like even for what we're trying to do, since we want the majority of our profits to be from our entrance coming into the mostly average park. So Orbiter at 5250 negative, I'm fine with that. Navigator under 74.75, that's fine. Carousel making 27.50, good again. And Vertigo losing $602. That doesn't sound right. That sounds like it broke down and never fully recovered. So that is definitely something that's a little concerning, but we'll keep an eye on that. Brain Drain, I don't expect that to be in the park all that much longer, because that was one of our attractions just to get started, which is why you just kind of have this derpy derp place over here. Kickflip under 365. Again, I think that is mainly because of it just I'm probably not quite charging enough, but it's also kind of out here. I don't expect this to stay here either all that long. Fireball's making a lot of money, so that kind of balances out in Vertigo at least. Bubble Shot also making some money, which is going to balance out some. Gulpy Speedway just under $100. Carbonator over 160, that's good. Whirlpool under 160, that's fine. So I'm pretty happy with all of those, for the most part at least. Our shops and stalls, we are finally having some green in this area, which is great. The hot dog house, which is over here. Ooh. This was probably the most impacted by our restaurant, because people would rather go to the restaurant than go for a hot dog here. So you can see that we're now making $400. That's fantastic news. The Bubble Shot vending machine is making quite a bit of money because people are thirsty. Random Stuff, what a great name I had for this, is just a memento right along the entrance here, and I don't think there's enough foot traffic here for this to actually make money. But for whatever reason, the Just a Memento is like $800 of operating cost. So that is absolutely insane. So for us to actually only be under $240, I'm pretty happy with that. The cooling station, to be up 100, that fluctuates quite a bit. That's all the way back here. And the hot air balloons usually is a pretty popular one, but for whatever reason, it's not doing the job here. And it's fine. It's only $28 down. So more Bubble Shot, Pip Shot vending 1. The Gulpy gas station vending. I don't think people can actually get to this, but it's very hidden as well, so I'm not too concerned about that. And it's only $50. Bubble Balloons over at the Bubble Shot exit has only lost $80. And then the Bear Paw Eats Pip Shot Juice is making a huge chunk of money over here, which is fantastic. And what else do we have here? Live and Sing set, or whatever it is. I don't know what that is. It's croissants and stuff. That is a brand new, that is not open yet. Dome Protectors, which is right in this area, in this building here. Is that actually made money? That for a long time was 100% negative for us. Street Fox Coffee is not open yet. Priority passes for suckers only lost $62. That's great. And then Bear Paw Eats Pizza Pen at $5.70 5. That is fantastic for a shop for me. And then we got a couple of Gulpy Speedway vending machines, and we have a Hats Fantastic over by Burnout. That is going. I think it's called Helmet. It's going to be called Helmet Heads. Right over here, so that'll be good as well. So I think that one's going to be pretty successful here. Our facilities, this is expected to be losing money for us. We do have one that's closed because I didn't want to. We can actually probably just open that now because we're making so much money. The small vending, what? Why can't I open that? What? Where the Gulpy grabs? Oh, that's why. He's fixing it. The little small attractions here, not really doing it all that well for us, but they're not losing that much money either, so that's fine. Our hotel, the Golden Nook, right here, not my favorite building, but it does the job, and it made money, so that's also great. And then our restaurant shops is completely closed because it was only negative. So we may be able to start opening that again, but I think I'm going to reduce the number of shops. And by the way, Chomps is back here if you haven't been a part of the series. It's kind of like a speakeasy, so it's kind of off the beaten path. But people certainly do go back there and go to it when it's open, and then they don't buy anything else around the park. So this is looking pretty good so far. I don't think we have much to worry about. We have 4 pickpocket victims in park, which is fine. Innocent guest groups ejected. I haven't done that because I'm not that. I understand what I'm looking for. And we're getting close to 100 vandals apprehended all time, which is cool. We have a bunch of security cameras around the park that cost us a lot of money. And it does catch a lot of different things. And we have one vandalized bin in the park, which we're not going to fix because our mechanics need something to do. And yeah, that is pretty much going to do it. There's nothing too much over on this end. So I think we're pretty much set for the management portion. Like I said, we're going to work on this path here and see if we're gonna completely annihilate the park. So I'm probably gonna save it first. We may have some failed attempts, but we'll see how it goes. So I'll see you in the time lapse. So like I said, we go ahead and start off by deleting this horrible pathway. We go ahead and make it whatever that fancy path, I don't know what that would be called, but we go ahead and immediately start to struggle with how we can get this to line up perfectly, and also it is a little bit easier because of having the curbs on the sides. The side by Vertigo isn't as bad, or is probably the harder part, but I could hide a little bit through the flowers, and then I was really concerned about how the entrance to Vertigo was going to go, but we were able to get that all sorted out. We got the self-care bathrooms and ATM hooked back up, and somehow we managed to get it all go. And then at this point, it is truly just trying to get this path to fit. I have no idea how I managed to do this the first time. And now at this point, yeah, we are trying every little bit to try and cover the grass because there's no way to expand it any further. So again, somehow we managed to do it. I have no idea how. It didn't take all that long, but then once we got those taken care of, it was just a matter of putting the black tarmac back around the outside and the inside of our pathway here. And then every now and then I could connect it. I didn't want to go crazy like I did unless it was going to be something easy, which there was quite a bit of easy parts to it. So we were able to get them just set up enough. And yeah, and then once we got it all set up, we did mess around with our planner a lot here. This was certainly a struggle. This was probably the hardest part. And this particular area, because it was just a little bit too wide. So we are now trying to get a little creative with our concrete brick that's going to be the separator between everything. And I eventually found out that, I can just connect the path. I can connect the path, I expand the little inside planner, and we're all set to go. And then at this point, it's just a matter of creating our border around the outside, which also helps hide over by Vertigo, which is nice. And then I really am debating going and switching the concrete under the Gulpy Speedway. That I was not a huge fan of that. So we may have to do that because it does bother me a little bit when I'm looking at it. But you guys let me know if I should mess with it or not, and we can make that decision together. Or if I just need to focus on finishing what I'm working on, because I'm already very slow at moving at this game. So at this point, I just didn't like the curb, or not having a curb. So we go ahead and pull out some of the in-game. It's actually the curb that doesn't let Gus walk over it unless they absolutely need to. So yes, we have those in there, but it should be fine. I don't think there's any issue with them being on the edge of the pathway there. The Invertigo exit, fortunately, was not impacted all that much. So we were able to go ahead and get those set up, and then just add the curbs around to the outside, which these look just fine. Even with some of the janky corners, I think it looks just fine as well. Get our curb around the planer here, and we are all set in that area. So we are looking good there. We do go ahead and try and reposition some of the benches, and that doesn't really work all that well for me. And then here, I think we continue with the curb, or the yeah, I guess it's still curb, and we focus on just having this little outline to the path all the way around the side, and this is what takes up a large portion. It does make it a little bit easier to make things straight, but we do make quick work of it. I'm pretty happy with the way it actually turns out here. And my goal is to try and keep enough on the outside for benches, and I think I was successful in doing so. So we go ahead, we got those on there. They are all looking swell. Go ahead and just rearrange a few of the planners in the middle. And then we realized, no wait, now since I've messed up with this path, I might actually be able to put some paths back here. So we play around with that for a little bit before I realized, no, that's not going to work. And it's not going to work very easily. So I don't even know, we might even leave paths there. If we do, there's not going to be any purpose to them, and there's no point for people to walk back there. So that area also could go away, because we don't actually get a chance to work on the flat ride in that area. I think I toy with it briefly, decide, that might be for another episode, and then we move on to the next thing, which is finishing the other side of this path. And again, we continue with the same idea that I wanted to leave room to have benches on the outside. Ooh. I apologize, I bumped my mic. And yeah, so sorry about that. That was probably extremely loud. But where are we now? We are just admiring the Gulpy Speedway a little bit. I don't really know why I chose to do that, but here we are messing around. I threw it in here for a second just to see how it would look, and I just didn't like the amount of space I had for the queue, so we make quick work of that and just delete that, and then we go and we now start working on getting some of our terrain work done for the car ride that goes to the top of the mountain. We also work on the terrain paint underneath the coaster. We do also do the antique ride underneath on the lower side of the mountain that goes underneath it. So just some quick work there before we start adding rocks in here. And this is just to kind of give this wall, or this face, a little bit more definition than what it had. Get a few shadows in there, and just be able to sink stuff in. I think it looks 10 times better. And then we'll just find a way to transition out of the rocks as we get closer to the bottom. And this is one area that I was concerned about right underneath the coaster because of how close it is and how steeply banked that is. So we do start messing with the tunnel here a little bit, which I actually believe I forgot there's a rock that ends up sticking through the bottom of the tunnel. Forgot to check that before we finished up this episode, so that might still be there. So we might need to take a look at that if I remember to do that in the future. I'm sure I'll look back there at some point. And at this point I'm thinking, how am I gonna work with this car ride back behind here and the coaster? What am I going to do to make that look the best? So we start messing around with the wooden floors here. It's like, what, wood probably would be a pretty reasonable thing here, but then I was like, wait, we're already on top of a concrete tunnel structure. We'd probably have a lot of concrete in here, but all of the blocks that I had were just a little too large, so we take the smallest footer, get two of them, face them together, and we just make a ton of them. And for whatever reason, it did not want me to duplicate these in multiples, so I had to do these all but single, which was a little annoying. We added our concrete base, which looks nice and pretty boring, to be honest, but we'll spruce that up in a later episode. But for the idea to see how it all comes out and has played together here, it's not too bad. And then, like I said earlier, I had an itch to finish this bridge. Now this one does get to be wood, and I struggled a lot. For whatever reason, the pieces did not want to align properly. They were always a little bit off. So we try so many different things here, and it just is not aligned properly. So we eventually align it ourselves, I believe, or I think I get a piece that gets aligned properly, and we're able to duplicate things. And this is just going to have a nice little wooden arched bridge underneath. There's not going to be any top to it. There's not too many people are actually going to see this bridge, except for the people riding the coaster. And maybe on one of the sides, but I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work. But we go ahead, we get in our frame here, and of course it does have to have some concrete, because that is the base of the structure. That's how it would support itself. And once we get all that in, we focus on getting the arch shape correctly here. We do get some beams underneath because I wanted to add a little bit of realism for the supporting structure, and I think it does add a nice little feature. Like you wouldn't necessarily pay attention to it when you're just flying through there. You don't even really see it all that much. But when we get in, I feel like I did a really good job with the arch right off the bat. We go ahead and get everything lined up here. We get to duplicate it right away, and we just go and get our cross beams, and then before you know it, we're duplicating that side, rotating it around, and we're pretty much done with this little bridge, which is just incredible how quickly this came together. I think it took me maybe 30 minutes with this type of detail. So very happy with the way that bridge has turned out. And now to something that's a little more annoying. The railing that's going to go around that leads over to our concrete portion. This is also going to be wood, but we spent a lot of time trying to figure out what piece is going to work right. I knew there was these like guardrail type things, and I think they look better than the other railing that I had up there. And even with like the color that is there, I think it just all seems to fit properly. We go ahead and we do get a little more concrete there as well, and now just duplicating it to get it around the corner. And I did have a little bit of struggle, or I wasn't exactly sure what to do, so we just go ahead and expand our concrete out here. Get rid of the concrete there, add in some rocks just to kind of hide some of the imperfections, and I think I had some hide those up there as well. So this is all starting to take good shape, and you can actually see that a little bit better than I expected to from the ground level, which the trees do eventually cover that up pretty good, but I'm still pretty happy with the way it all turned out. And now at this point, we're just going to go ahead and add in a few inner rocks to kind of stop the view of the you don't see the coaster until you're on the bridge. We didn't want people to just necessarily see it. You can see it a little bit, but the primary focus is just driving at that point. And then at this point, the part that I really wasn't looking forward to doing because it was easy but it was monotonous is the top of our launch tunnel, if you want to call it that, the launch trough. We go ahead and we just start getting things duplicated, and I really wanted to stick with the theme of that I already had on the other side. And again, it's super annoying. There are some parts that I'm not a huge fan of the way it looks, but we do end up getting everything to look pretty good for what we were going for. And I don't want to complain because I actually think this probably looks a lot better than I expected it to. We do remove some of the fencing, which if this was a real part, that would not be the case because this is an active construction zone. But yes, we needed to be able to see, so we go ahead and of course we have to go back to our curbs. And at this point we are really, that seems to be the theme of this episode at this point. I say that way too many times here, I'm sorry. But we are trying to keep a consistent amount of the concrete here away from the planter, and then we go right back to making sure we have enough space on the outside of the concrete. And one thing that I actually noticed with these is the benches weren't lining up properly, but if I added in a little bit, like as if it was going to be a new path on that side, and then just never connected it, so it was still hidden under those concrete footers, I could position the bench however I wanted, and that was fantastic. Once I got that going, we figured that out. We were able to get everything lined up just the way I wanted to. We go ahead and start getting our trees, flowers, and bushes, and we just copy a bunch of stuff all the way through here. We got our fences that you would have around a trough like this, because it is highly dangerous if you go down there. And you know, again, I think it turns out really, really nicely. And the reason this wasn't the screenshot is because there's nothing on the right hand side yet. We don't put any trees in there yet. We only focus on the bridge portion, plus I like to look at the bridge and the coaster and how it rolls through there, so we get these. At one point I did want to try and combine some buildings to make it a little more efficient for me, but that doesn't work. And yeah, like I said, now we're back into the flowers, and we're just kind of randomly rotating them. We have 2 selected here, so we only really had 2 rotations that we could do, and we just kind of focus on getting some down here. We get the other one that's used on the other side of the trough there behind helmet heads, and then we get some rose bushes that will just kind of fill in some of the other areas. And then from this point forward, we are really just putting in some trees. We do have a little bit of fencing. We create a quick custom fence over by the pathway by the launch, which I'm pretty happy with. And the goal behind this is we didn't want to have big trees because we want people to be able to see the launch. So if you were at one of those benches, you'd just be able to look down and see everything. So my first plan was we'll just put some hedges in here. That'll create enough of a barrier for people wanting to go here. But I wasn't fully thrilled with all this. So we go ahead and we add in some brick pillars, and we eventually get them. We have to duplicate it a little bit and make it a little bit bigger than the hedge. But I'm not super thrilled with the colors, but at the same time, I think it kind of works. So let me know what you think of that, because those are up for debate on whether I'm going to keep those or not. And then the last few things that we do here is go ahead and get in our last fencing and some greenery into the rocks, and that's just by sinking. Really, I think I only used 1 or 2 bushes because I wasn't putting that much in, and because of the rocks, it pretty much is it. So now at this point, I leave you with some very, very choppy footage of Burnout, and there's no audio because the audio was just absolutely horrendous. But like I said in previous episodes, I am looking at new ways to get a new computer that hopefully will be able to ride this without a problem, because the whole time I rode this, I had no issues with frame rates or audio, so I am looking to try and fix that. I've made some adjustments, but we'll see how it goes. But anyway, that's going to do it for me. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like. If you saw something I could have done better, make sure you leave it in the comment section. And if you want to find some more awesome Planet Coaster content, make sure you subscribe to my channel, Mostly Average Matt. Right now, I think I'm going maybe once a month for Planet Coaster. Hopefully it'll speed up here soon. But again, thanks for watching. Enjoy. We got one more of a front bumper view, and then we do a little bit of an orbit for the outro. So again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.